Right. So are you ready to like step into the arena? Because today we're diving deep into Gladiator.
Oh, yeah.
But we're not just going to, recap the plot or anything like that. Think of it more as like Gladiator meets philosophy and psychology.
Yeah,
And even maybe like a little dash of self-help, you know?
I like that.
Yeah. And our guide for this deep dive is this really interesting video essay that I found
Okay.
that really digs into like all the symbolism and themes of the film and
Yeah.
like, really kind of gets under the surface.
It's interesting how we can take like a fictional film,
Yeah.
even one with historical inaccuracies,
Mm-hmm.
and find these like universal truths about human nature woven throughout the story.
Yeah, it really shows the power of a good story, right?
Yeah.
Like, for those who haven't seen it in a while or just need like a quick refresher,
Yeah.
Gladiator follows Maximus, who is this Roman general who's betrayed by the emperor's power-hungry son, Commodus.
Right.
And he's wrongfully imprisoned and forced to become a gladiator. And, throughout the film, he seeks revenge while navigating the brutal world of the arena.
And the essay starts by highlighting this scene that at first glance seems almost insignificant.
Okay.
Maximus is in the midst of this chaotic battle, right?
Yeah?
Yet he takes a moment to focus on a bird
Oh, wow.
perched on a branch.
That's interesting.
Yeah,
It's such a subtle detail, but you're right. The essay it reveals a lot about his mindset.
exactly. It's about perspective.
Yeah.
Even in the face of chaos, we have the power to choose where we direct our attention.
Okay.
For Maximus, that bird represents a connection to something peaceful, to the life he longs for with his family.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
It makes you wonder what's our bird in the midst of our own daily struggles.
Hmm.
That thing we focus on to find a sense of peace or purpose when things get tough.
Right.
Now, before we go any further,
Yeah,
it's worth acknowledging that Gladiator plays loose with historical facts.
it does.
I mean, Commodus, while not a saint, probably wasn't the villain the film portrays him as.
Right. But you'd think that would undermine the impact.
You would.
But it really doesn't.
It doesn't.
But-
Because the film taps into something deeper.
Okay.
These like archetypal figures and timeless narratives that resonate with us on a psychological level.
So like regardless of historical accuracy,
Exactly.
we're drawn to these stories of ambition and betrayal and redemption
Yeah,
because they reflect elements of our own human experience.
absolutely.
Okay, so let's talk about that central conflict
Okay.
between Maximus and Commodus.
All right.
You've got this noble general, beloved by all, versus the emperor's son consumed by jealousy.
Right.
It seems like a pretty straightforward good versus evil setup.
Well, the essay presents a more nuanced perspective.
Okay.
It compares the relationship between Maximus and Commodus to the biblical story of Cain and Abel.
Oh, really?
Yeah, remember Cain murders his brother Abel out of jealousy because God favors Abel's sacrifices.
Hold on, I see where you're going with this.
Okay.
Commodus feels slighted by his father, the emperor, who clearly favors Maximus. Right. And just as Cain's sacrifices were seen as insincere, Commodus's actions are driven by ego and a desperate need for validation.
I see.
He craves power, but he hasn't earned it through genuine sacrifice.
Mm.
This actually makes him a more tragic and arguably relatable figure.
So are you saying we should feel sorry for Commodus?
Not necessarily feel sorry, but understand.
Okay.
The film suggests that much of his darkness stems from his father's emotional neglect.
Really?
And that raises some interesting questions about how even well-intentioned actions can have unintended consequences.
It's true.
Yeah,
Okay, I'm starting to see how this film goes way deeper than just swords and sandals.
me too.
The essay spends a good chunk of time breaking down why Maximus is such a compelling hero,
Okay.
and they use this framework of king, warrior, magician, lover archetypes.
Interesting.
What's that all about? So break it down for me. Like, what do these archetypes have to do with Maximus?
Well, these archetypes, as described by Robert Moore and Douglas Gillette, they represent different aspects of the mature masculine psyche.
Okay.
And Maximus, throughout the film, embodies all four of them.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he's a natural leader,
Yeah.
which speaks to the king archetype.
Right.
He inspires loyalty and commands respect,
Mm-hmm.
whether he's leading soldiers or a band of gladiators.
Yeah. You see it throughout the film.
Yeah, and the warrior is pretty obvious.
Right. He's a skilled fighter.
Yeah, brave and willing to face any danger.
Yeah.
But he's more than just brute force.
Oh, okay.
He's also the magician,
Oh, interesting.
meaning he possesses wisdom and insight
Yeah.
and a connection to something larger than himself.
So, like, think about his speeches,
Exactly.
his stoic philosophy.
Yeah, he has this ability to inspire those around him. to
Yeah.
touch them on a deeper level.
Yeah. And finally, lover.
Right.
I mean, I wouldn't exactly call Maximus a romantic hero.
Right. In this context, lover goes beyond just romance.
Oh.
It signifies a capacity for compassion and connection and loyalty.
So it's his devotion to his family,
Exactly.
his friendships, even the respect he shows his enemies.
Right.
Okay, that makes sense, but it does make me wonder,
Yeah.
are these archetypes strictly masculine? Can women embody them too?
That's a great question, and one the essay touches on.
Okay.
It raises a larger point about evolving gender roles and what strength
Yeah.
really means in our modern world.
Yeah.
Perhaps these archetypes, rather than being gender-specific,
Okay.
are more like aspirations for wholeness and integration within any individual.
Something to think about for sure.
Yeah.
Now, let's talk about Stoicism.
Okay.
It was a big deal in ancient Rome,
It was.
and Maximus seems to embody many of its principles.
He does.
Endurance, self-control, acceptance of fate.
Right. But the essay points out a fascinating deviation
Oh!
from traditional Stoicism in how Maximus views death.
Okay.
He doesn't just accept it as the inevitable end.
Uh-huh.
He finds solace in the hope of an afterlife, of being reunited with his loved ones.
Yep. That's interesting because Stoicism usually emphasizes detachment from everything,
It does.
even loved ones, to minimize suffering.
Right.
But Maximus clings to hope.
He does.
Does that make him less of a Stoic or just more human?
I'd say it's a testament to the enduring power of love and hope.
Yeah.
Even for someone as disciplined as Maximus, those emotions remain powerful motivators.
true.
Makes you think about how we all cope with loss
Yeah.
and the role hope plays in our own lives.
This is really making me see Gladiator in a whole new light.
Yeah, me too.
It's not just about revenge.
Well-
It's about something much deeper.
And that leads us to the next point the essay explores.
Okay.
Maximus could easily choose the path of pure revenge, but he doesn't.
So his journey evolves into something more meaningful,
It does.
more impactful.
Exactly. Maximus transcends the personal and embraces a larger vision.
Okay.
Yes, he wants justice for himself and his family,
Yeah.
but he also wants to restore Rome to its former glory,
Wow.
to create a better world.
So he's not just tearing down Commodus.
Right.
He's trying to build something better in his place.
That's a powerful way to put it.
Yeah.
And it speaks to the qualities of a true leader.
Okay.
Maximus doesn't just fight for people.
Yeah.
He inspires them to be better.
I see.
He shows them what's possible when you act with courage, integrity, and a commitment to something greater than yourself.
Okay, but isn't that a form of sacrifice too?
It is.
Choosing the harder path because it aligns with your values?
Exactly.
Even if it means giving up something you desperately want.
Absolutely. It highlights the complexity of sacrifice
Yeah.
and how it can manifest in different ways.
So sometimes it's a grand, dramatic gesture.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's a series of small choices
Right.
that lead us toward a larger purpose.
It's a great point.
Yeah, it makes you think about the sacrifices we make in our own lives, big and small.
Now, the essay also points out this seemingly small detail
Okay.
that they argue carries a lot of symbolic weight. Maximus's habit of rubbing dirt in his hands before a fight.
Yeah, I always thought it was just to get a better grip on his sword.
It might seem like just a practical thing, but the essay suggests it's much more than that.
Really?
It's actually a grounding ritual,
Hmm.
a way for Maximus to connect with the earth,
Okay.
with his roots.
Oh, wow.
Remember, his ultimate desire is to return home to his farm, to live a simple life with his family.
Right.
Rubbing the dirt is a symbolic act of remembering who he is,
Uh-huh.
where he comes from, and what truly matters to him.
It helps him stay centered in the midst of all the chaos and brutality of the arena.
Exactly, and this raises an interesting question for us.
Okay.
What are our own grounding rituals?
Yeah.
What helps us stay connected to our values, our purpose, our sense of self,
Right.
especially when we're facing challenges or feeling lost?
That's a really good question for our listener to consider.
It is.
Maybe it's meditation or spending time in nature, or even just taking a few moments for quiet reflection. We all need those practices to help us navigate the craziness of life.
Speaking of lasting impact,
Yeah.
the film's ending really drives home this idea
Okay.
that the impact we have on others can outlast our own lifespan.
Absolutely. We see it in Maximus's relationships.
Yeah.
He has a profound effect on Proximo, the hardened slave trader,
Right.
who eventually helps Maximus achieve his goals.
Yeah, his actions inspire his fellow gladiators
Yeah.
and even sway the Roman crowds.
Right?
And even after his death,
Yeah.
His legacy lives on, inspiring future generations.
It's powerful stuff.
The essay highlights this quote from Marcus Aurelius.
Okay.
What we do in life echoes in eternity.
Wow.
It suggests that even seemingly small actions can have ripple effects that we may never fully comprehend.
Yeah, it really makes you think about your own life, your own choices.
It does.
Like, what kind of impact do you want to have on the world? What will your legacy be?
It's a humbling thought, isn't it?
Yeah.
That we all have the potential to create something meaningful, something that resonates even after we're gone.
And speaking of impact, I was thinking about Proximo.
Yeah.
He's introduced as this ruthless, cynical character.
Right.
Almost like a villain himself at first.
He certainly starts off that way.
But Maximus's influence on him is undeniable.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
He sees firsthand the power of compassion and integrity and fighting for something greater than yourself.
It's true.
I mean, he goes from exploiting gladiators for profit to actually helping Maximus overthrow Commodus.
It really is a remarkable transformation.
It is.
It speaks to the idea that even those who seem hardened or cynical can be changed, by genuine human connection and acts of courage.
Yeah, it suggests that we all have the capacity for both darkness and light within us.
Right.
And the choices we make determine which path we ultimately follow.
Well said.
It's like that saying, everyone you meet is fighting a battle you know nothing about. Be kind, always.
That's a good one.
You never know how your actions might influence someone else's journey.
Couldn't agree more.
And that brings us back to the essay's main takeaway.
Okay.
We all have the potential to leave a lasting impact on the world.
We do.
It doesn't have to involve grand gestures or epic battles or anything like that.
Right.
So what are you saying? We can all be heroes in our own way.
Exactly. It can be as simple as living by our values.
Yeah.
Inspiring those around us and striving to make a positive difference in whatever ways we can.
It's a powerful reminder that our lives have meaning.
Yeah.
That each of us can contribute to something larger than ourselves.
Absolutely.
And maybe, just maybe, those ripples will continue to spread long after we're gone.
This deep dive has really been an eye-opening exploration of Gladiator.
It has.
Uncovering so many layers of meaning that might have been missed on a casual viewing.
Yeah, who knew that a Hollywood blockbuster could spark such deep conversations?
I know, right?
With philosophy and psychology and the human condition. It just goes to show the power of stories to make us think differently about ourselves and the world around us.
Oh, sad.
And it makes you wonder, is there another film or story that we might have initially dismissed as pure entertainment, but that actually has hidden depths worth exploring?
Yeah, that's something to ponder.
It's something to ponder until our next deep dive.